Update. I know that my husband regrets throwing me out, but I can't rush my healing. 39 female, 41 male. Original post. My husband's best friend's wife, Ellie, work at the same company I do. We are not very close because I always felt that she didn't like me. Anyway, apparently she had a crush on my husband. My husband and I often get invited to parties at their house, but I didn't go to Ellie's 40th birthday last August. She had a huge party, but I was just starting with my worst morning sickness period, which nobody told me were not only reserved for mornings. Ellie made a move on my husband and he got very upset and turned her down. Ellie got angry and told him that everyone was doing it. All married couples cheat. Her husband was cheating and I was cheating. She told him it was a colleague of mine, a colleague my husband already disliked. When my husband got home, he was drunk and very upset. He confronted me, and I told him it wasn't true, but he slept in the sofa. A couple of weeks later, he told me to move out. Apparently, Ellie provided my husband with information about my infidelity, late working hours, etc. I was shocked and had nowhere to go, so I moved in with my parents. My parents thought I was cheating too, and I felt like they had to take me in. I never felt so hurt in my life. How could my husband so simply believe such thing about me? Then he demanded a paternity test. In November, my husband found out the truth when another friend's wife told her husband what Allie did. My husband apologized and was devastated and wanted to make it up to me. He told me when Allie told him he didn't believe her. Then he found out that she was telling the truth about her husband being an adulterer, so he thought she was telling the truth about everything. If I wasn't pregnant, I would never have taken my husband back, but I just don't want my baby to be born without his parents being together. I love my stepdad, but he never loved me like he did his biological children, my half-siblings, and it gave me a lot of pain growing up. I moved back home a month ago, but we are still in therapy. But nothing feels the same. I don't even know what I feel about my husband. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I don't. He's trying to make me happy again, but he feels my change. Last time we made love, he kept telling me to come back to him, and then broke down crying while we were still intimate because I wasn't there, and he started blaming himself. I don't know what to do. I know I'm being a bit distant and it's not intentional. I need this to work, not only for our son but for us too. Help me find my way back to how it was, or at least give me ways to cope and try to live with the knowledge that things may be a bit worse moving forward. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Sounds like you need his and hers therapists and a couples to complete the hat trick. That's if you really think you want to make this work, and I'd give that some serious thought. If this was a complete departure for him, maybe that's worth it. But if you can't find it in yourself to forgive him, don't stay for the sake of the baby. Modeling an unhealthy relationship isn't going to be any better for your child than growing up with parents who are separated. Model happiness for your baby instead. Possibly relevant, did he cheat too because he thought you had? I understand everything you're saying. I just feel that I want this to work. We are in couples counseling and he is in therapy since everything happened. He didn't cheat exactly since we were divorcing, but he withdrew it when he found out I wasn't lying. But yes, he had slept with people. Something I can't shake off my mind every time he comes near me. He was pretty quick to distrust you and start sleeping with other people. I definitely think you need therapy, both separately as individuals and as a couple. But I don't think you should have to speed your healing. He betrayed you and destroyed your trust in him, while also harming your relationships with others. You are staying because your stepfather wasn't a good step-parent. Some people are amazing step-parent. Having a child is not a good reason to stay in a broken relationship. This will hurt the child way more than having divorced parents. Your husband didn't trust you. He put someone else's word over yours. He broke his vow done during marriage that you would be his partner and him yours. That you would be a team. He threw you out while pregnant, not even knowing yet if the kid was his. He had no right, as it is a marital home. I think it is a big mistake to go back to him, especially given your reasons. Update. Hi again. Thank you for the support. I didn't expect anyone to read my post since it got too long. But thank you for caring, really. It feels weird that strangers are far more understanding of how I'm feeling than the people who love and know me. There's something I want to bring up, however, and that's that I got a lot of aggressive messages about my last comment that got downvoted, about whether my husband has slept with Ellie or not. I'm so confused to why I got downvoted and later attacked in a private chat. I was asked a question and I answered the truth, and I wasn't trying to defend my husband. Actually, the reason why he would never do it is because he loves and respects his friend. He wouldn't do that to him. It has nothing to do with me, and to be honest, it saddens me. I mean, I don't want him to have slept with her, but it saddens me that my husband would never cross that line with a buddy of his when he chose to trample all over me and our baby. So I'm very confused to why you hated my answer. Ellie and I still have the same workplace. I'm not changing my life because of her. And to those of you who are angered by the fact that I don't seem as mad as her as I'm with my husband, believe me, I hate everything about her and her husband. I just didn't think her worthy of the smallest amount of my time and energy. But for those of you who are curious, I exposed her and her husband to every single person we know. She works mostly from home now, because again, the people who don't know me as well as my family, my coworkers had no problems believing me with no hesitation. Many of you have requested an update, and many of you who contacted me asked me if my husband knew how I was feeling. I haven't spoken a lot with him, I just never had the energy. I feel exhausted all the time, physically but more so mentally. I'm so tired, and some days I can barely do the simplest tasks like eating or taking a shower. I'm fine or I'll be fine, it's just so easy to say. My quietness is good enough indication for my husband to get an idea about how I'm feeling. But no, I have never really put in words how I've been doing these past few months. I'm mostly silent and in our couple's sessions too, trying not to cry. It's basically him breaking down about how bad he hurt me and how guilty he felt every time he remembered how he doubted that our baby is his. I believe everything he says, and I feel that his guilt is genuine and heavy. He says he deserves it and that he never wants it to go away. That he should always live with this guilt because of how he treated me. I believe this too. It's just not enough for me, however. We had our first session for this year on Tuesday and I was more verbal then. I told him how I felt when my husband chose not to believe me, chose to sleep with others and break my heart. But worst, how worthless and disposable my baby and I were to him. I told him the truth that I wasn't sure I will ever forgive him. His only chance to get me back is to give me space and peace. I told him I never want to feel worthless again. I have a good job, and I can fend for myself and my baby, but that I want my house. He needs to put it in my name so nobody can ever kick me to the streets again. I never want my baby to be disposable again. So, I want the inheritance my husband got from his father to be put in a trust fund for him, and that my husband has no access to it, and I want my husband to move out. I made it very clear that these are my demands, without any guarantees we would stay together. This morning he told me that he agreed to everything, but he wanted me to promise to let him be present when our baby is born, because he's already lost so much time from the pregnancy. He can't stand the thought of not being there for our baby's first weeks. I agreed, and honestly, I never wanted to do this alone anyway. He is moving out this weekend. Your husband slept with others in that short time period? OP, I think they downvoted you saying you don't believe he slept with Ellie, because you used an emotional standpoint where he placed someone higher than you. So they disliked it. Logically, if Ellie got shut down by your husband and then opened his eyes to all these neighborly infidelity, the first person to attack your husband and keep attacking him after you leave would be Ellie, and your husband would owe her one for exposing you. I hope it didn't happen. I'm just theorizing why you might have got downvotes for that. I'm sorry you were going through this. Yes, he was very angry and wanted to get over us fast. This is what he said. Wow, I'm really proud of you. It must have been so hard to stand up for yourself and put your needs into words. I really wish you the best, and hope that you can heal from this and at least manage good co-parenting, even if you should decide on not staying with your husband. Thank you. I thought of what was important to me and my baby. I want to never be put in that position again, and I want to make my decisions from a place of power. If I ever take him back, it should be because I want to, not because I have to. And I'm sorry this post got even longer than the last. Next story. My boyfriend asked for a paternity test for our child. As soon as the results come and show he is the father, I'm leaving him. I'm a new mom to a baby boy who is my pride and joy, though it's been a roller coaster adjusting to taking care of a baby. The past few months have been great. Tiring, but great. I have a boyfriend of 3 years who is the first person relationship-wise I have ever loved, and I thought we were doing great as new parents but also as partners. Friday, he came home and he asked me for a paternity test. Just like that. It was completely out of the blue. I was putting away the dishes and he asked for one, like he was asking what was for dinner. I'm a different race from him, but our child, apart from the skin tone, is literally his mirror image from pictures I had seen of him when he was a baby. I was stunned when he asked, and his reasons were that he had to be sure he was the father. He had to have that certainty. All I remember as he was speaking is just immediately feeling pain. The man I love doesn't trust me. He would actually believe that I would sleep with someone else, cheat on him, and then try to pass off another man's baby as his. I have never ever given him reason to think I would cheat on him. I have tried to be transparent and communicated, and it wasn't enough. He told me he would give me time to think about this, that he wouldn't go behind my back and do this test, but for our relationship to move forward, he needs to be 100% sure. He repeated this because he, in his words, needed me to realize how serious he was. After thinking for a couple of days, I'm going to allow him this paternity test because I have nothing to hide. I never cheated and would have never cheated on him. But once it's proven that he's the father, I'm ending it, leaving the same day, and I'm going to try my best to be a cooperative co-parent with him. In the meantime, I'm coming up with my exit plan, a place to live, and a lawyer to work out a custody arrangement and court. I can't even tell my family or my friends right now because they would go nuclear, and my first priority is our child. I hope the test was worth it to him. I'm not asking for advice or reassurance or to explain a side. I'm just realizing this part of my life is now over. What a way to start the new year, huh? Now for the top advice. Did you ask what suddenly made him change his mind? Who is he talking to? I'm thinking a group of friends got into his head, and he's not going to expect her to leave, especially as he said for this relationship to go forward. Which sounds like an ultimatum. You just had a baby, you are helpless, you must do whatever I say, because you are totally at my mercy and I have all the power. Well, surprise. It also sounds like, are you sure it's my baby? I want to be somewhere else, and if it's not mine, I won't have to pay any child support. He sounds kind of checked out whatever it is. Well, at least she'll already have a paternity test handy to prove it's his kid for child support. If he already signed a birth certificate, it might not matter. Many states only require legal parenthood and not biological. Not telling others is a good thing. That way, you know it won't get back to him. He can't backtrack after the results come in. I'm petty. I would also record him saying it, and then record him getting the results. Just so you can play back for him in the future. Also, if he ever lies and says he never said it. So much this. Definitely record what he is saying and his reaction to the test. Also, keep a copy of the test. Last story. My best friend's husband confessed his feelings for me. Her life was very difficult, and she says she's finally happy. How do I tell her? Mia, 32, female, and I, 32, female, met in college, and were best friends ever since. Mia was always very family-oriented and romantic. Even when she was a kid, her ultimate life dream is to have a big, happy family. Sadly, Mia had very difficult childhood. She lost her entire family, younger sister and both parents from ages 10 to 12. She was in the system for a while, until her awful uncle took her in. Obviously, Mia is very mentally unwell, and just a few months ago, she managed to get off her meds and stopped going to therapy. Mia and her husband Rick, 34 male, are together for 2 years now and married for 6 months. In my opinion, it was all a bit rushed. But Mia was getting scared she won't be able to have children if she waited. And to be honest, Rick seemed to be her perfect match. She was aware things are going faster than she initially wanted, but reassured me that her and Rick are on the same page. It's her life after all, so if she's happy, so am I. Rick and I never love nor hate each other. He's my friend's husband, so at best, we tolerate one another. We don't have any common interests, and our lifestyle/life goals are different. Fast forward to the New Year's Eve, me and Rick organized a party and invited me and my partner, 31 male, to join. Everything seemed fine. Rick and I were chatting with some friends when I decided to go outside to breathe in some fresh air since the house was very crowded. Rick followed a few minutes later. We casually talked about some irrelevant things when he suddenly says he's in love with me. I thought it's one of his stupid jokes and I was totally blindsided by it, so I just laughed, joked back and hoped he will drop it. Sadly, he just doubled down and got visibly upset, started saying how he doesn't want to spend another year unhappy, and how being with me is exhausting because of her trauma, and he deserves better than that. At this point, I got very nauseous and just wanted to get away from it all. So I told him he has no idea what he's saying, and we will talk once he gets his act together. Mia and Rick are trying for a baby, so I obviously have to tell her ASAP. The thing is, I have no idea how to do that. How do you approach a person to tell her that the best part of her life is a lie? How do you address something like this with a person who spent vast majority of her life in antidepressants and being self-harming? I don't even know if she'll believe me. I also don't want to lose her as a friend, but I can't watch her be all happy and giddy about him when I know he doesn't even freaking respect her. There are times I think to just ignore it all and never mention it, but I know that isn't right. You have to tell her, and it may mean she chooses him and you lose the friendship. But I couldn't live with a secret. I'd get her one-on-one as soon as possible and be upfront that you have bad news, so she can sort of be prepared. I'd frame it as, this is so horrible. I don't want it to be true, but her husband is not a good man, and she needs to know. It's up to her what she does with this information, and you'll be there for her whatever she decides, even if that's staying away for a while. Her world might totally crash down with us. Offer any and all support you feel is right, but be patient with her potentially lashing out as she reacts to this news. You need to tell her. But before you do, you need to try and record another conversation with him about this issue without him knowing, depending on how lost or where you are from on consent for recording, with him saying what he said. Because even if Mia does believe you without a single piece of proof, he will almost certainly try to turn this on you and say that you were the one trying to come on to him. Yes, I will definitely try to talk to him again about it for the proof. It's just that the entire thing is absolutely insane to me. I know love is blind, but I can't imagine anybody buying the story that I was the one who initiated the conversation. The fact he actually did it is crazy enough. I've been with my partner longer than he even knows Mia, and he doesn't know me enough to be in love with me. I've never given any idea to this man that I might be interested, and neither did he. I have moments when I question my own sanity and wonder if that conversation even happened. Update. Deceased girlfriend's mother threatening to sue me for equity in my home. Original post. My girlfriend and I were together for 7 years. She passed away 2 years ago. She lived with me for 5 of the 7 years we were together. I bought my home a year into our relationship. I was the only one on the mortgage, and now I own the home. I came into full ownership of the home after she passed. My name is also the only one on all bills. My girlfriend did not pay rent. My girlfriend's mother has contacted me and informed me that she intends to sue me for equity in the home, claiming that she has proof my girlfriend invested in the home and paid to have renovations done. We renovated one of the bathrooms and a bedroom, and I paid all costs related to that. She contacted me via her family attorney, who I looked up and don't believe practices this type of law. He appears to specialize in wills and estate planning. She is saying I owe my girlfriend's estate $100,000. I have no idea where she could have even come up with that number. For what it's worth, my girlfriend's mother has never liked me and has been particularly vicious toward me, including an accusation that I was responsible for my girlfriend's death. She died of natural causes. I have not spoken to her since that outburst, which was shortly after my girlfriend's funeral. Her mother was the executor of my girlfriend's estate. My girlfriend's family, including her father and siblings, have always supported me and have denounced her mother. Basically, I am wondering if I actually need to worry about this and what questions I need to ask when I meet with an attorney on Monday. My name is on everything. I can't even find any receipts or anything that has her name on it. The fact that this is coming from an actual attorney has me a bit spooked. I received the notice yesterday. Thanks for your time. Edit. By saying came into ownership of the home, I meant to say I paid off the mortgage. Sorry for any confusion. To clarify some things, no, her name has never been on the deed to the house. And no, we did not share bank accounts. I paid for everything out of my own accounts. The mortgage, the renovations, everything. She at no point contributed to these. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Did she have a will? Who was the beneficiary of her estate? She did have a will. It left everything to her parents. Was she ever on the deed? Your post mentions that you came into full ownership after her death, which implies she was on the deed. What I mean by that is I paid off the mortgage after her death. If your girlfriend was never on the deed, and there is no written agreement or documented financial contribution toward ownership, her estate has no legal claim to any equity in your home. Probate court cannot award assets the deceased did not legally or equitably own. Any claim to equity would have to go through the civil court, where the estate would need to prove she had a financial interest based on something like unjust enrichment or a constructive trust. That is a high bar without clear supporting evidence. It's possible this is more of a pressure tactic than a serious legal claim. If a lawsuit is filed, your attorney can advise whether it qualifies as frivolous and whether it would be appropriate to pursue recovery of your legal fees. Based on what you've described, the claim appears very weak. Since she didn't even pay rent, the mom can't even try to claw back that as an investment in the home. Your girlfriend literally lived there for free, and the mom wants to grift $100K off you? You should file a complaint against the attorney who sent you the letter with the Bar Association and let the mom know you'll be doing it. I'm a lawyer, but not your lawyer, and not licensed in your state. People threaten to sue all the time, especially if they think the person they are threatening has money or will freak out and give them something just so they won't sue. People hear words like lawsuit and 100,000 and freak out. Don't do that. If she contacts you again, just let her know that you'll respond to anything properly served on you, and then stop responding to her. Seriously, block her if for no other reason than for your own mental health. If you're served with a lawsuit, hire a lawyer and go from there. If it were me, I wouldn't spend money on a lawyer just in case. I say that because until you're actually sued and have an actual complaint, a lawyer can only give general and speculative advice on something that may or may not even happen. Now for the update. First, I would like to thank everyone who expressed their condolences to me regarding my girlfriend. It's been a very difficult road since she has been gone. Secondly, thank you to everyone who sent me advice and support for navigating this. I just want to tell my experience. I ended up meeting with 3 different lawyers, 2 free consultations, and 1 paid. I went with all of the documentation I had, and all 3 pretty much told me the same thing. Unless they had something I didn't, they did not see a case where her mother had any sort of claim to try to get anything from me. We even went over Cash App and Venmo transfers, and while she did send me money through those, the money I sent to my girlfriend was more than what she sent me. The attorney I paid for the consultation offered to write a legal response to the letter on my behalf at no additional cost, with the understanding that should she move forward with a lawsuit, I would have to begin making payments toward their service if I wanted to retain them. I agreed to that. They allowed me to read their response and broke down the legal terms I didn't understand before sending it. I agreed, and they sent it. This was yesterday morning. Earlier this afternoon, I got a phone call from the attorney's office stating that they had received a response. The attorney then got on the phone with me personally to let me know that the response they received from her attorney stated that she would not be pursuing the matter further and to consider the matter closed. I know that my experience will not be typical of what may happen with others, but I wanted to make this update, and again, thank everyone for their support and advice. Mom tried to see if OP was a sucker or a rollover and lost. People need to know, you can hire a lawyer to write a letter. It doesn't mean it has any merit or weight. OP says the letter was sent via her family attorney. Chances are the mom spun him some story and he believed her. She has now shown the lawyer that she is not to be trusted. It's such a dumb thing to sue over, to be honest. Even if she had put in money for the house, it's not an estate. It's not marital property because they weren't married. And upon her death, particularly without a will, the estate goes to the owner of it. She had no legal claim on anything. Even if they'd broken up and the girlfriend tried to sue for equity, she wouldn't have been able to. So her mother trying to do it on her behalf is just bananas. Not married, not on the deed. Even if she had put money into it by living there or adding to renovations, it just doesn't matter. It's like trying to sue the landlord of a tenant that passes because they painted the home and added a few additions. So I want to sue for equity. Bananas. Glad he got closure. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my sister and her family stay in my home, even though I'm hardly ever there? I work at a fly-in fly-out construction site. I get paid very well, and I enjoy my work. But the best part, besides the pay, is that I work 42 days in a row, then I get 21 days off. Like I said, I get paid well for what I do, so I tend to do whatever the heck I want. I bought a truck 10 years ago. It has 32,000 miles on it. I'm never home to drive it. I bought a house partly as an investment, partly as a place to keep my stuff. I'm there maybe 30 days a year. I'll give an example. I just got back from Colombia. I spent almost 3 weeks just traveling around, checking out cool stuff. I'm at my house now basically to drop off souvenirs and to have a little sleep before I go to work on Thursday. When I'm done with this shift, I will be going to Japan for a couple of weeks. So over the course of 24 weeks, I will use my house for maybe a week total, just a couple of days between vacations and work. Long backstory, but it's relevant, I promise. My sister and her husband want to move their family into my house so they can save up to buy a house of their own. They don't want to pay me rent or anything. They say that if they are there, then I don't need my gardener or my caretaker service. They will take care of my house. They aren't homeless or anything. They are both employed people with careers. They just want to save up. I was considering it until they said that they would put my stuff in the garage so they could have their stuff to use, like my couch and such. I like my couch. I like passing out on it. I like my stuff in my house my way. I like that the lawn is always mowed and that my fridge has a couple of days' worth of my favorite food whenever I'm in the house. I said no. I told her I would help them with a loan for a down payment, but that my house was not for rent. She is angry now, saying that people like me are the reason there is a housing shortage. I'm not sure how. I don't buy multiple houses. I'm not a landlord. I just have one house that I like to have as a home base. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. This sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. If you feel something, just give them some cash as a loan and never expect to see any of it ever again. I offered that. Not the a-hole. They would make you a guest in your own home and put you in the guest room. Possibly they would have such a sweet deal, they wouldn't want to move out. It sounds like they're trying to take advantage of your generosity without fully considering you. I am willing to wager my immortal soul that they won't save a dime toward buying a home. I'm also willing to bet that the gardening or caretaking services would taper off, and soon OP would be the bad guy for making them into slaves in the home. And once they were enjoying the free lodgings, utilities, and food, it would take dynamite to dislodge them. OP's looking around his lovely happy home and saying, "You know what I could use? A litter of parasites." Not the a-hole. They don't want to be caretakers. They want to be tenants who don't pay rent. And they want to move your stuff out? The audacity is insane. You made the right call. Nah, tenants pay rent. They want to be squatters. Not the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law to stop controlling what we buy for our home? I'm 24, recently married, and trying really hard to build a home with my husband. We just moved into a small rental a few months ago. It's not fancy, but it's ours. Well, supposedly. Here's the thing. His mom lives nearby and acts like she still runs our house. Like full-on CEO energy. Every time I try to buy something for the place, literally anything, she butts in. Curtains? Too dark. Plates? Don't match the kitchen. I once bought a laundry basket and she said it was a waste of money because we could just use the old one from her house. At first, I let it slide. I told myself, she means well, but it just kept getting worse. One weekend, I used my own money to buy a small table and a few kitchen supplies from the market. Stuff we honestly needed. My husband was okay with it. I was happy. Then she came over, looked at the stuff and went, "Who told you that you could buy that? I'm the one in charge of the things here." She basically told me I don't get to decide what we put in our own house. Like, what? I lost it. Not yelling, not screaming, but I told her very clearly that she needs to stop. That she has her own house, her own furniture, her own decisions. This one's ours now, mine and my husband's. We're not her roommates. We're adults, and I need her to respect that. She went silent for a second, then said I was disrespecting her and stepping out of line. She told my husband I'm being controlling and ungrateful. And now, he's weird about it. He's not taking sides, just keeps saying, "Let's not make it a big deal." But it is a big deal. I feel like I'm constantly being told I'm out of place in my own home. I'm walking on eggshells in a space that's supposed to be safe. I don't even want to buy a mug anymore without second guessing. I don't know. I feel like I snapped because I'd had enough. But maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I should have waited and let my husband handle it. But he wasn't handling it. He never does when it comes to her. So now I'm here, second guessing myself again. I told my mother-in-law to stop deciding what we buy for our house and that it's our space, not hers. I stood my ground, but she called me disrespectful, and now my husband's acting weird. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Your husband is either immature or lacks balls. He needs to end this. This is completely unacceptable on your mother-in-law's part. Exactly my thoughts. He really needs to step up and draw the line before things get worse. I'd smile and agree with him. Then when she starts again, no. Remember husband said we aren't to make a big deal of this. Then smile and continue what you're doing. If you're shutting her down, you're the one not trying to make a big deal of it while she's needling you. If she has a key, take it back. Rekey the house. Stop answering the door for her. And every time she talks crap, cut her off. You're right. Boundaries only work if I enforce them consistently. Time to follow through. Better yet, ban her from your house and tell your husband that until he grows some balls to stand up to his mother, he can go live with her. Not the a-hole. Honestly, if this was my husband and he acted this passive about his mother overstepping, I would have told him to go live with his mommy because he clearly doesn't want a wife. Thank you for your perspective. I'm really hoping he steps up soon because this isn't sustainable for our marriage. There's no hoping in this. You need to sit down and have a talk. Not a fight, but a clear talk with him about his mom and her insane behavior. Next story. Am I the a-hole for postponing the wedding when my fiancé was demanding to be paid back the money he paid for his late wife's surgery? I, female, have been with my fiancé Jake for over a year. His late wife died from illness. We were supposed to be in the middle of wedding planning, but something came up and I had to postpone as a response. Jake told me he gave people money, and that once they paid him back, we'd go on a honeymoon. So I understood why he needed the money. It turns out the people who owed him were his ex-in-laws, and the money was for his late wife's surgery. I was stunned. I overheard him arguing with one of the ex-in-laws, and ex-father-in-law was telling Jake that he shouldn't expect the money he willingly spent on his late wife's surgery back. Jake went on about how much he had helped already, and that he wanted the money back. I was shocked. I tried to speak to him about it, and he got defensive. I flat out told him he had no right to demand the money he paid for his late wife's surgery back, and that it was disrespectful not just to the ex-in-laws, but to her memory. He looked at me shocked and said that I was being judgmental. From what I understand, his late wife stayed at home and took care of the house. I feel like it's unfair that he's demanding the money back. He got upset and said that of course he had every right and told me to stay out of it. We argued loudly, and I ended up telling him I'd postpone the wedding since this is how he's behaving. He stormed out and tried to get his friends involved, hopefully to talk some sense into me. I decided to go stay with my mom for a few days. My mom says I shouldn't have gotten involved in this matter and escalated it to the point that I postponed. I want to know if I'm overstepping here and whether I've made the wrong decision. Not the a-hole. Why would you marry this dude after seeing this? My thoughts. If OP gets sick with cancer and is off work, will he demand the money from her parents? Or is it only because his first wife died? He now sees it as a poor investment and wants it back? Either way, she was his wife. In sickness and in health, for richer or poorer. Sounds like he paid. She died, and now he expects to be reimbursed from supporting his wife, as you're supposed to support your partner. Also, would he have expected his first wife to pay the surgery off if she'd survived, while doing all the housework, etc.? Not the a-hole. Did her family agree to pay in advance of the surgery or something? Did she die as a result? He is a walking red flag. Run. I don't know, so I can't answer the question. He told me she died 2 weeks after the surgery.